states. What you need to know with more rain in the forecast. And the latest after a Northwest Arkansas police officer is killed. Also, a compromised infrastructure package is back on track for the White House.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Areas of the 4 states are hit hard by rain and more is on the way. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Zach Dodge. We go straight to Michael Hayslip with our first look at the weather.
Zach, I know you're going to talk about what happened down into the southern portion of southwest Missouri, evacuations that took place in Seneca. But now we've actually shifted from where we were this morning and we're going out to the west and up to the north. While our southern counties were dominated by rain this morning, now rolling through southeast Kansas. The same places that were able to stay dry this morning, now going to be in the same boat as everybody else. No, that was no pun intended. No, that was not. That's on me right there. So when we talk about flash flood watches, that's going to be your off turquoise area right there. That means just anticipate those roads that you know that are low lying. Those are going to eventually flood if they're not already flooded. And on top of that, the lime green that you see, well, those are flood warnings. That's going to last all the way into Tuesday morning. Those, don't be surprised, those are going to be extended because we're talking about the Osage, the Marmaton, and the Neosho River, particularly the Neosho River that is going to flood. I want to go back to Zach and talk about the rain that we're seeing right now, because if I tell you the observed precipitation, this is a 24-hour time period, okay? Just the last 24 hours. Let's zoom in here on Joplin. 3.3 inches of rain in the span of 24 hours. We were talking about Seneca that you're going to catch us up on. 4.4 inches of rain in 24 hours. Now here is the scary thing, is that while we talk about those numbers right now, this is in addition to what happened this weekend, and the 7-day forecast shows us we've got a lot more rain ahead.
Yes, we do. Thank you very much, Michael. We'll come back to you in a little bit to get your full forecast.
Thank you.
As Michael said, heavy rains led to flash flooding in the area, resulting in evacuations in Seneca. The Lost Creek in Seneca began to rise rapidly Saturday morning, with the Seneca Area Fire Protection District and the Seneca Police Chief taking to social media notifying people that evacuations were underway. Officials were going around the community evacuating people as needed. And the Chanute Fire Department responded to a water rescue Saturday near the area of Harper and 140th. The Neosho County Sheriff's Office posted these photos on Facebook, asking people to avoid crossing flooded roads. Officials in Neosho County are carefully monitoring the Neosho River. Rains brought the river to 34 feet Saturday near Erie, Kansas. A Bella Vista man is charged with capital murder in the death of a Northwest Arkansas police officer. Authorities confirmed Officer Kevin Apple died while on duty. He was a 23-year police veteran and served with the Pea Ridge Police Department for 3 years. At around 11:30 Sunday morning, Rogers PD alerted the Pea Ridge Police Department about a car they had been following. Around noon, Pea Ridge officers spotted the car at the Whiteout gas station. Once police approached the vehicle, suspects rammed their car into a Pea Ridge police car, ran over Officer Kevin Apple, then drove away. With the help of several surrounding departments, including Rogers PD, the Benton County Sheriff's Office, Arkansas State Police, and more, they were able to catch the two suspects. 18-year-old Elijah Andazola is charged with capital murder. A Kansas woman is dead after pulling a gun on a Plainville police officer early Sunday morning. The incident happened after the officer spotted the suspect, who was wanted on a misdemeanor charge at a convenience store. The KBI says 29-year-old Nicole Deschamps was in the short stop just before 1 a.m. The officer approached Deschamps to arrest her, and investigators say Deschamps pulled a gun from her bag and pointed it at the officer. Next, the KBI says the officer ordered her to put down the gun, but she didn't. The officer then shot her. The officer was not injured. MoDOT holds a virtual public meeting to discuss removing an interchange on I-44. MoDOT is considering removing the bridge interchange at I-44 and Missouri 66 in Jasper County, commonly referred to as the Scotland Interchange. The project would start in 2022. You can comment on the project by going to the website on your screen until July 12th. Topping Nation Watch today, President Biden has walked back a veto threat which threw the bipartisan infrastructure bill into danger of not passing. Skylar Henry has more details from the White House.
The White House says the bipartisan infrastructure deal announced last week is still on track to pass.
Republicans are standing by the deal. The president's going to honor his word, and we're going to hope that they're going to honor their word.
President Biden threw a passage into doubt when he threatened to veto unless the Senate also passes his American Families Plan. It'll fund what he calls human infrastructure, Democratic priorities like child care, free community college, and green energy.
We were assured that the two would not be linked. Yes, the human infrastructure, if you will, as they call it, would be pursued, but the two would not be linked. Republicans think that portion is bad for our country.
The president reversed his comments over the weekend, saying, "I gave my word to support the infrastructure plan, and that's what I intend to do."
The president's promise to deal with it separately is nice, but isn't determinative unless the majority leader and the speaker agree.
Democratic leaders on Capitol Hill say they can't get the votes for the infrastructure bill if they also can't get the votes for the American Families Plan.
If the Senate is going to move forward with a bipartisan infrastructure bill, we must also move forward on a budget resolution as well.
Democrats still have to come together on the size and scope of the American Families Plan.
If they think in reconciliation, I'm going to throw caution to the wind and go to $5 or $6 trillion when we can only afford 1 or 1.5 or maybe 2, and what we can pay for, then I can't be there.
Democratic leaders say they want to vote on both bills in July. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Search and rescue efforts enter a fifth day Monday at the collapsed building in Surfside, Florida. The number of deaths has risen to 10, and 151 people are still unaccounted for. Searchers continue to carefully comb through the pile of debris. Crews have cut a 125-foot long, 20-foot wide, and 40-foot deep trench through the pile to help enhance their search. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, some of the world's greatest athletes are getting ready for the world stage, a week before they head to Tokyo. And later, Michael Hayslip has another look at flood watches and warnings for the 4 states. Team USA athletes are geared up for gold with less than a month to go before the Summer Olympics in Tokyo. CBS's Tina Kraus is in London with a look ahead to the Games.
Sydney's time is now!
Sydney McLaughlin flew past the competition at the Olympic trials in Oregon on Sunday.
That's a new world record!
Running the fastest ever 400-meter hurdles. The 21-year-old from New Jersey is primed for gold ahead of the 2020 Games next month in Tokyo. So is Virginia native Grant Holloway, who nearly broke a world record in the 110-meter hurdles, missing it by 100th of a second. Team USA showcased a star-powered Olympic lineup at qualifying competitions over the weekend. 4-time Olympic gold medalist Simone Biles secured her spot in Tokyo despite a fall from the beam. 18-year-old Suni Lee from Minnesota also locked up a place.
No need to doubt.
But tennis superstar Serena Williams says she's not on the Olympic list, and she won't say why.
In the past has been a wonderful place for me, but I really haven't thought about it, and so I'm going to keep not thinking about it.
The 23 times Grand Slam singles champion said earlier this year Tokyo may not be in the cards as COVID restrictions wouldn't allow her to bring her 3-year-old daughter Olympia. Despite growing concerns about COVID, the Olympic torch is getting closer to Tokyo, with just a few weeks to go before the Games begin. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
Japan's prime minister is promising to strengthen health checks at airports after an Olympic team member from Uganda tested positive for COVID-19, triggering concerns the upcoming games will spread infection. Still to come on KOAM News at Noon, Howard has a summertime treat that's sure to melt in your mouth in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. But first, Michael Hayslip has your complete forecast.
I got vaccinated.
Seemingly throughout the course of the morning show and even the noon hour, every time we've taken a live look from our tower cam at 7th and Rangeline, it's been a different look. We had rain coming down sideways. At one point in time, we saw some sunshine earlier this morning, and now overcast skies, but at least it's not raining right now in Joplin. That is not the case throughout the entire 4 states, though. While we were dominated south of I-44, up through northeast Oklahoma, into Joplin, and into Carthage early this morning. Now we have shifted our attention out to southeast Kansas, where it takes a similar route. It comes in from the southwest, works out to the northeast, and once again, this is on top of record-setting rainfall that we had over the weekend. In fact, Joplin Regional Airport picked up 3 inches of rain alone on Saturday, breaking a record that dated back to 2002. Once again, that was Saturday. That doesn't take into account anything that we saw on Sunday or today. So here's where we stand right now. We have been a little lucky as far as staying out of the fray. No lightning associated with this, but once again, heavy downpour. And what that's going to mean when you look at the intensity of that rain, that leads to flash flood watches. Now, earlier, we had a handful of counties. This is all encompassing at this point in time. Please know that not only for today, but the next several days, when you're making that commute, roads are going to flood. Chances are they're probably already underwater because look at that expiration time. That's not until tomorrow morning, and that is going to be extended. Now, that's in the dark turquoise. When we talk about the lime green, those are flood warnings. We're going to pick out our rivers. Right now, we've got the Spring. That's what you're going to see from Carthage into Joplin. We've got the Osage and the Marmonton. That's going to be up in Vernon County by Nevada. And you see that one that runs from Chanute down to Miami? Yeah, the good old Neosho River. Zach was talking about that earlier and the threat that it poses, because when we forecast this out on the National Weather Service hydrograph map, we see more than moderate flooding, close to cresting at 20 feet. I do want to point out, this is at the gauge in Commerce, Oklahoma. So go back up. Think about it if you're in Oswego, if you're in Parsons, if you're in Erie. This is what's going to be headed your way as well. As far as our temperatures go, big discrepancy. When it rains, you've got 70 Iola compared to 81 in both Cassville and Monette. Nationally speaking, you know what? We're kind of in the heart of it. I know it looks kind of intimidating down here to the southwest, but no. The flooding concerns throughout the entire United States actually deal with us. Here is a bright spot that I can pick out. When we get to the thunderstorm risk map, you'll notice that light green, that simply means rain showers. Don't have to worry about wind, don't have to worry about hail. We'll call that a winter. Flip side of it, doesn't want to stop anytime soon. Rain is going to come in some form or fashion throughout the 4 states, throughout today into tomorrow morning. Zach, there's that same line. Look at that, southwest to northeast. Now, as it rises from the south, it wants to give us a little early Tuesday morning break and then come right back at it. So when we talk about our chances for rain headed into the 4th of July weekend, we're going to keep those constant. Like I said, hail, wind, no, not really a problem. Our problem right now is flooding.
So you're going to have a pretty busy week this week tracking all of the weather and all the rain.
I'm feeling for those people in southern southwest Missouri, that Seneca and Neosho area. Mm-hmm. Got a report earlier that portions of Miami are flooded as well. So yeah,
right.
And no, just everybody down there, no more is coming.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But thank you very much, Michael. We take this time now to honor today's 4-state hero, Private First Class Raymond Blevins of Parsons, Kansas. Blevins served as an anti-aircraft gunnery in the U.S. Army and fought in World War II and received a Distinguished Service Medal. We thank you, Mr. Gunnery Blevins, our 4-state hero. If you need to make a nice dinner for a special occasion, this one may be for you. And you may be surprised at how easy it is in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
If you've had the great fortune of either visiting or growing up in part of the country where fresh clams are in abundance all summer long, lucky for you. For those of you who may not have had this opportunity, once you try these fresh steamed clams that we're making today, you'll know what all the hullabaloo is about. Here we have about 5 pounds of fresh little neck clams. Since they're small, they're great to steam and are super tender. After washing them to remove any sand, we set them aside to drain. Now, meanwhile, in a large pot, we saute some garlic and a bit of olive oil. When it's tender, we add some white wine. After it boils, which takes no time at all, we add our clams. Make sure to cover them so that they really steam. Then we'll add some butter and a bit of crushed red pepper, and we'll let them steam a bit more until they open up. All that's left to do is dump these in a large bowl, along with all that flavorful broth, and let everyone go to town. Maybe serve them up with some crusty garlic bread for Dunkin' and let the party begin. To get the taste of summer as soon as today, head over to our website and look for what we call garlic steamed clams. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an ocean fresh way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at 4 state market prices.
Doctor.
Final look at our radars. The rain continues to pour down in southeast Kansas. Now, with that being said, it's not just where the rain's pouring down, it is everybody. As a matter of fact, see that blinking icon right there? That means we have a new flash flood warning. This is going to be widespread, and it's going to take us all the way into the 4th of July weekend. Our temperatures are going to be mild. This week, we're going to concentrate on keeping everybody safe and knowing roads are going to flood.
Thank you much, Michael. Now, Dow Quick joins us with a look at what's coming up tonight at 5.
Yeah, at 5, the first cruise ship to set sail since the pandemic began is headed to Mexico. Find out how they're planning for a healthy, historic trip. Plus, despite the pandemic, business and construction is booming in Joplin. We're going to take a look at some of the projects coming on in the area, and we're going to meet a teen recovering after getting not just 1, but 2 new organs to save his life. Those stories coming up on KOAM News at 5.
Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at Noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.